Hi, I'm Sabrina and I'm going to show you how you can get this look here, which is perfect for a red carpet event or any glamorous night out, and all the colours go together perfectly. First step is primer. This is Benefit's Professional Primer. So I'm applying that on the under eye area and near the nose. Before I start off with my base, I am going to add some definition into the face. So I'm using a concealer palette. I'm going to go with quite a light colour. I know this looks super scary and lighter than my skin tone, but trust me, it's all going to come together. I'm going to grab a buffing brush and just blend that all in. Now I'm going to add some definition and warmth into the face. Using the exact same brush, which is a Zoeva small rounded brush. I'm going to be using that on the corners of the face, right here where my cheekbones are. And I'm also going to take that around the forehead. I'm also going to bring it down the sides of the nose as well a little bit, just to bring all those tones and all those colours together, because I don't want to have a really pale face in the centre and just dark on the outer corner. Going back to the buffing brush and just buffing that all in. Now don't worry if this is neat at this part, this is just laying down the basics. I'm going to be using a foundation from Tarte. This has quite a full coverage, something which is really going to help hide any imperfections you may have. By doing the steps that way, we have now got the face to look a lot more lighter in this area and darker on the outer area. Now I'm going to be using my Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Pro palette, and I'm going to be using a shade called Soft Brown. Whenever you fill in your eyebrows, try to go a shade lighter than your hair colour. That will not make the eyebrows look so harsh and like drawn on. Taking a light concealer, I'm going to run that underneath the brow bone to really help define those eyebrows and make them look on point. I'm also going to take some of the concealer and run it onto my eyelids. This is going to help blank out any veins that you may have on your eyelids. And I'm also going to use this as a primer. Using my Tarte palette, I'm going to use the lightest shade called Super Mum, tapping off any excess product and wiping that all over the lid. This is going to help the other colours that we use later really stand out and look super pigmented. Now I'm going to be using a colour that you would traditionally use for contouring, but you can also use it on your eye. So I'm taking a fluffy blending brush from Zoeva, and I'm going to be using my Park Ave Princess palette by Tarte, and I'm going to be running that into the crease. Using an Urban Decay Pulp Friction palette, I'm going to be taking a warm tone brown. This is going to be applied right on the inner corner here to add definition. I'm going to be using a really deep purple. This is going to be applied to the outer corners of the eye, and I'm using a really small fluffy Zoeva brush right into that crease on the outer corner. When using a pigment, they can be super tricky and a little bit intimidating, but don't be put off because they can really give you such beautiful colours. I'm going to be using one from Ingot. I'm going to be using a colour that has purples, greens and browns in there to really give like a 3D look to the eye. I'm using a flat eyeshadow brush for this. I'm going to be spritzing the brush to make it a little bit damp, which means we're going to pick up our pigment a lot easier. Pressing motion. So as you can see, we're really getting that 3D look to the eyes. If I move it around, you can see all those tones coming together. Using the concealer, I am going to run this underneath the eye there, just to clean it up. And I will be leaving that there until I have smoked out the bottom lash line. Going back to that purple eyeshadow on the exact same brush I use, and I'm really going to smoke out that bottom lash line. I want these eyes to pop. I want it to be like, wow, look at my eyes. And I'm gonna pat that out because I will be adding my concealer. Quickly gonna add my concealer before I carry on with the eyes, but I'm gonna be avoiding the lower lash line. And I'm just gonna blend that out with a fluffy blending brush. Perfect, let's move on to the eyelashes now. So I'm gonna use some Eyelaw eyelashes, and these are number 154. I'm running the eyelash glue along the lash line. Then I'm gonna leave it to dry and do the other one. I'm gonna use my tweezers to apply my fake eyelashes, but you can use your fingers, use whatever makes you feel more comfortable. While those dry, I'm gonna move on to the rest of my face. Going back to my contour palette, I'm gonna be using a Real Techniques brush. This is from the Core collection, and I am just defining those cheekbones. Now it's time for the highlighter, and I'm using the highlighter from the palette, which has a gorgeous glow. If you look at the nose now, it looks a lot more straighter and thinner. And by adding highlighter to the tip of your nose, it makes your nose look a little bit lifted, a little bit like a little fairy pixie nose. I just want to define those cheekbones even more, so I'm taking a white concealer just under that contour. So as you can see now, that really makes my cheekbones look a lot more prominent. Now it's time for the lips, and I'm going to be using a really nice deep burgundy red, and this is one from MAC and it's called Diva. Burgundy lipstick is really going to complement those tones used in the eye makeup. I like to put it on first like this, very roughly, and then I go round with a brush. Taking a really small, precise brush, I'm going to run that onto the lipstick, really pick up that product. But I just find doing it this way really helps me with getting that perfect shape. So I'm just going to take the hair down to complete the look. So there you have it, perfect for any red carpet event or any glamorous night out.